Tuesday, 5th September 2006, 5:30 p.m. Departure for hot-air balloon flight, somewhere in France. Most hot-air balloon flights are made during the cooler hours of the day, at dawn or 2 to 3 hours before sunset. At these times of day, the winds are typically light, making for easier launch and landing of the balloon. The pilot and his crew are arrived on site. The retrieve vehicle or chase vehicle has room for all the equipment, chase crew, pilot and all passengers. Before a hot-air balloon flight can begin, the pilot must check the weather and select a suitable takeoff point. The current and forecast weather must have sufficient visibility for the pilot to see and avoid obstruction, and slow winds to allow take-off and landing. A hot-air balloon consists of a bag, called the envelope, a wicker basket, the burners, and fuel tanks. On the basket, there are several steps to climb more easily into the basket. Mounted above the basket and centered in the mouth is the burner, which injects a flame into the envelope, heating the air within. When the burners are installed and tested, the basket is tipped aside on the ground. The next step in a hot-air balloon flight is unpacking the balloon from its carrying bag. A range of envelope size is available. The unit size of the envelope is a volume unit. But why? Just because the envelope will contain air, and air unit is cubic meter. The smallest one-person basketless balloons, called hoppers, have less than 1,000 cubic meters of envelope volume. The size depends also to the number of people you want to transport. There are balloons that carry well over 2,000 people and have an envelope volume of up to 15,000 cubic meters. Most balloons are 2,500 cubic meters and carry 3 to 4 people. And what a length! Could be up to 70 meters. Laying the envelope out on the ground and connecting it to the basket and burner. A fan is used to blow cold air into the envelope. What a noise! The internal view of the balloon, just to give you an idea of the size. Look to the man standing into it. This is a balloon of 6,000 cubic meters. The cold air partially inflates the balloon to establish its basic shape. The burner unit may consist of one or more individual burners, of which the pilot may use one or more at a time to generate the desired heat. Each burner is linked to several propane fuel tanks. Each bottle of gas can weigh up to 60 kg. The burner flame is aimed into the mouth, heating the air inside. The envelope begins to take off from the ground. Once the balloon is upright, the final inflation is reached. The pilot climbs into the basket. Then the passengers. A picture before the flight? When the pilot is ready for launch, more heat is directed into the envelope and the balloon lifts off. The crew then pack up inflation equipment and follow the balloon with the retrieve vehicle or chase vehicle. Here the balloons take off. We are gone. The cows stay in the front to the balloon. It's not always the case. Sometimes they are afraid of the noise of the burner. We take altitude. The shadow of the balloon appears several hundred meters below. Our cruise altitude is between 500 and 700 meters high. During the flight, the pilot's only ability to steer the balloon is the ability to climb or descend into wind currents going different directions. Two other balloons are ready to take off. Earth from the air. We fully enjoy the spectacle. It's fabulous. The direction of flight depends on the wind, but the altitude of the balloon can be controlled by changing the temperature of the air inside the envelope. The pilot may open one or more burners to increase the temperature inside the envelope, thereby increasing lift, and thus ascend or slow or stop a descent. The pilot may also open a vent to let hot air escape, decreasing the temperature inside the envelope, thereby decreasing lift and thus descent or slow or stop an ascent. The maximum internal temperature of the envelope is limited to approximately 120 degrees Celsius. More than 1 hour in the air, the pilot is already thinking to land. He must be careful for the trees and cows below. Almost landed. One of the last pictures in the air. Our crew and vehicle is already on site. Easy when the pilot and his crew are communicating via radio. Much more difficult in other cases. Our pilot performs a very smooth landing. The landing becomes difficult if the air at ground level is moving at more than 15 km per hour. If the balloon is moving at this speed or more when it contacts the ground, the basket may drag for a bit or even tip over. Once the balloon has landed, the envelope is deflated. Less than 10 minutes after the landing, all passengers are helping to detach the envelope from the basket. Nobody is too much! The weight of the envelope is 400 kg. The envelope is then packed into its carrying bag. One of the balloons we saw half hour ago and trying to land somewhere. The burner and the basket may be separated and all equipment are packed into the retrieve vehicle. Almost 8 p.m. and sunset. This end of wonderful experience and I enjoy you to perform the same.